We heard a lot in the last few days here at Ars Electronica about business models for the Creative Commons, the content, and the digital economy. What do you think are the most successful and promising deals, models you're seeing?
Well, I think, the Nine Inch Nails releasing their music for free and selling $1,600,000 worth of merchandise. I think that was a great example. I think, though, that there is a problem that I think the industry will see these things, but it's not creating this avalanche of other people doing it, because I think it takes a while for these people to really internalize it. In fact, I think actually the more interesting things are things like the presentation by Ronaldo Limos about the Brazilian music scene, where they're not selling, they're giving away the music at the beginning. They have this huge kind of party culture that's sponsored by the equipment vendors. It's creating a multi-million-dollar parallel
The Technobrega.
No. Technobrega, yeah. It's creating a parallel universe. And I think that in a sense the industry will see little models. Creative Commons has relationships now with the Dutch and the Danish rights collection societies, and these will change. I think it will take a long time, and it's moving moving along. But I think that in fact, what we're doing is we're not so much fighting to change the mainstream as much as just creating separate environments. And I think that the youth are starting to change their behavior, moving into things like video game. Machinima, for instance, is a very interesting example where the game companies are like, sure, go ahead and use our material for making your videos, because that's not a revenue stream for us. And so the kids now are making videos on YouTube using games, and then the game companies see that as promotion. So I think that you'll see people who don't have as much to lose creating new sharing economies, and then eventually I think the old companies will start to change.
Creative Commons, the common system and sharing seem to work pretty well for the digital economy, but many say that it's not a solution to all our problems. You are also working on science, scientific research. How are you seeing it applied to different domains?
Well, I think that in science, we are now seeing scientists from all over the world that can contribute and participate. And also the fields of things like neurology and medicine are becoming much more complex, that requires a participation of many, many other people. So we're taking what we're learning in Creative Commons and applying it to scientists, helping scientists do material transfer licenses using standardized licenses and e-commerce engines like with Creative Commons, or connecting databases that are already kind of open but need a little bit of Web 2.0 technology and some standardization of licenses to occur. And we're finding that even in things like very physical research and even things like architecture, that sharing really helps, and that a lot of the learning we have in open source and Creative Commons can be applied very directly.
The next generation of the Internet will be on mobile phones. This is a highly regulated system because of the carriers. How do you think, what are the risks and opportunities for this new media we are seeing?
Well, I think the biggest risk is that the fixed line internet is kind of open at every layer almost by the DNA of the way that internet is developed. Anyone can participate without asking permission, and people compete at almost every layer. As you said, the mobile is closed at many layers, and so we're moving from open internet to on top of a system that's quite closed, and I'm very worried that the money that usually used to flow back into the ecology of the internet may get stuck in big R&D, bloated R&D labs, and also that the control will start to stifle innovation. So I think the risk is that we will stifle innovation and waste money and increase the cost of innovation. The good thing, I think, is the mobile device is a much better platform for the rest of the world. I think the idea of cyberspace and computers and screens is a very American, big offices, big houses, and cars. And I think the mobile internet is much more about the internet being part of your whole world, and is much better for places like Japan, Europe, and developing nations where the network needs to be ubiquitous, and energy consumption needs to be more efficient.